Everybody, welcome once again to another episode of Eat Me, your weekday marketing and mind control live video streaming cast or whatever. I'm here to eat lunch with Jeremiah. There's Jeremiah over there. Wave. Yeah, so quick video for you today. As promised, the topic of today's episode is how to be interesting forever and always. There's this song that was popular when I was in college by a band named Harvey Danger. It's called Flagpole Sitta. There's a line in that song about if you're bored, then you're boring. And really, that is the secret to being interesting online today. We're being saturated by so much information constantly, and so much of it is of like low quality that the bar is set incredibly low for being interesting, and really all you have to do is not be boring. And to not be boring is really a very low bar because we're surrounded by tons of boring information every single day. Jeremiah's over there watching me on this phone. I just saw him click like. So you just don't want to be boring, and like that song says, if you're bored, then you're boring. So if you find that you're being boring and people aren't interested in what you're doing, it's probably because you're bored. So you need to find something you're interested in, or at least an angle on what you're interested in about the content that you're creating, so that you can be interested, because interest and enthusiasm are infectious. So all you have to do to make whatever your topic interesting to your audience, all you have to do to make that happen is to be genuinely, enthusiastically interested in whatever it is that you're talking about. And an additional secret that will help, if you can't manage to, like, you know, some days it's just not working, you're a little bit bored, you're not that interested, but you still got to show up and do it. Being consistent is important, because if you show up every day at the same time, or at least on a regular schedule, people will forgive you for not being interesting to them deeply every single time, because what will happen is they know that if you're off on a certain day, at least as far as they're concerned, they know when and where to come back to try again. And if many previous times you've been interesting to them, they'll forgive you and then continue to come back. So ironically enough, what happens if you're consistent and show up every day at a certain time, or, you know, on a regular schedule, the expectation makes it so that even though you're committing to try and be interesting more often, the audience is more forgiving when, man, I have a knack for doing these when motorcycles drive by. The more forgiving the audience is going to be if you don't hit every time, because they know they can come back and you might hit it next time. So it's almost counterintuitive that by committing to try and be awesome and interesting on a regular basis, the audience lets you slide when you're not. Whereas if you tried to save it up and only be amazing and awesome and interesting, but rarely and sporadically, they would be much less forgiving. They would be much more merciless, because, you know, you're making them wait, basically. So that's it for today. It's really not that hard to be interesting. The bar is set super low. Just make sure that no matter what you're talking about, you can manage to be enthusiastic and interested in whatever that topic is, because that's going to come across, and that makes other people interested. It makes them not bored. And man, there's just way too much boring stuff going around all day, every day. So don't do that. Be interesting. Be fun. And then show up on a regular basis. And that's been the secret of my success, if you consider that I have any at all. Thanks for watching. See you next time, every weekday, noon Eastern, for another episode of Eat Me, right here on the Cult of Copy PR page. See you later.